All right, thank you very much for choosing us. This is Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Aldo Moro. Now, this afternoon, we're going to look at a matter which has been raging for the past 2 weeks or so, and it has to do with the manufacturing of, or the manufacture of cement and the selling of same. Now, what is happening is that the trade minister, that's Mr. K.T. Hammond, has actually directed cement manufacturers to halt the increase in the price of the product, and he's asked them to do that because, according to him, it's unlawful for them to keep increasing the prices of cement. But the stakeholders in the value chain have kicked against this policy directive, telling the minister that it is unlawful. In fact, it is unrealistic. It's not even doable. So they have a GREDA, we have cement manufacturing, the Chamber of Cement Manufacturing Association, and then also you have the Cement Distributors Association. All of them are kicking against what the trade minister is asking the cement manufacturing companies or the regulator, which is actually in charge of quality control in terms of the quality of the products that are being sold on the market. So some actually even argue that he's actually addressing the wrong agency. But be that as it may, his primary focus is to drive down the prices of cement. And he's asking everybody in the value chain to do everything possible to make sure that the prices are down. But is this realistic? Because the other players in the market are saying that it's not our fault. If you are able to deal with the cedi depreciation and also deal with the amount of monies that we pay by way of levies and charges at the port, then we're good to go. So what really are the options that these cement manufacturing companies can look at? And what are some of the options that the Ministry of Trade can look at, and government in general can look at? That's the conversation for us this afternoon. Stay tuned in. All right, welcome back. So as I did indicate, the Trade Minister, K.T. Hammond, has directed the Cement Manufacturing Development Committees, that's the CMDC, to instruct cement manufacturing companies in Ghana to immediately reverse the recent increase in cement prices. So the Trade Minister is worried that at the rate at which the prices of cement is going, it would get to a point where some people's businesses may collapse. But this directive by the Trade Minister has been dismissed and actually condemned by the players in the industry. So cement manufacturing companies are very unhappy with this directive. You also have the real estate developers also not unhappy with this directive. And also the cement distributors are also unhappy with this directive. In fact, the minority has had to issue a statement where they've kicked against it as well. And they're saying that it is unlawful, it is unrealistic, and rather tackle the root causes of the problems. And that's where we find ourselves. And my name is Aldo Moro. It's always a pleasure knowing that you've tuned in to Good Afternoon Ghana, because you want to know what's happening in Ghana this very afternoon. And it's about cement prices and the fact that it is escalating and Ghanaians are worried and Ghanaians are complaining. So joining me in the studio, Bridget Totu is my very good friend, is my colleague actually here at Metro TV. But one of the things that some of you don't know is that she is also a businesswoman and a successful businesswoman as such. She sells cement as a part-time job. So if you read some of her write-ups on social media, she says she reads the news in the night and she slays cement during the day. I think that's the way she puts it. I hope I got it correctly. Did I get that correctly?
Yes, correct.
So she slays cement, not the things that some other women do, but she slays cement. She sells them for a living. Very decent indeed. Anyway, Bridget, it's always a pleasure having you. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Maureen.
Your audience actually miss you. They've been asking, where have you been?
Yes.
You took a short.
You took over. No, I'm good.
Well,
Thank
Bridget
you.
took a short break, but she's back, thankfully.
Yes.
We thank God for her life. Anyway, thank you very much for
you.
seeing you again. And also, let me say that I have some Amegaibo. Now, Amegaibo is Executive Secretary of the Ghana Real Estate Development Association. He's also joined us, taking time off his very busy schedule to be with us. We're grateful, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll also, at some point, be joined by Dosingamwa. Now, Dr. Dosingamwa, he actually runs a chamber that actually protects the interest of cement manufacturers. And he'll be joining us at some point in the discussion. We tried to get the guys at the Trade Ministry, but it was very difficult. We're told the Trade Minister was out of town. He's back. But he's been busy in the office, and so he won't be able to speak to us. But of course, if my producers tell me that they've been able to reach him, why not? We'll speak to him on this matter and to see whether he would rather be reversing his position that he's taking as far as the prices of cement are concerned. So I'll start with the guys who are in the distribution of this product we're talking about, because they've been complaining quite bitterly, because the higher the prices, the lower the sales. I believe it is what it is, isn't it? The higher the prices, the lower the sales. So, first of all, how is market?
Right. I've been in this business since 2018, so I'm in my 6th year now.
Oh, I see. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I remember when I started, it was 32 cedis a bag, and 32 cedis included profits. And today, I think in my shop now, Gasem 42.5R is 113. Or 110 if you don't want us to transport it, 110 cedis per bag, yes.
Wow.
The cheapest cement you would find, which is the 32.5 N, not the R, N.
What's
N
the
is
difference?
so the N, so I think the rapid is like how fast the cement dries. So the quality of the cement. So 40.5 R is what people use for concrete. Some also use it for plastering, but ideally concrete, because also it dries faster.
Okay.
I mean, it's good for the building.
Yeah.
Plastering, 32.5 R. R just simply, rapid.
Yeah.
It dries.
Yes.
Rapid. And now 30.5 N came about as a result of these price increments. So it's much cheaper. And they tell you specifically, don't go and use it for concrete works.
Right.
Because persons are using it for concrete. There was a time I was passing by a story building, and my heart sank when I saw them using the 32.5 N to floor a building. I'm like, oh my goodness, I hope nothing happens to this building.
Yeah.
Because every single one of them has. I mean, now there's even 50.5 hour. I think it's CMAP that is producing the 50.5 hour. So block factories love the 42.5. Persons who are doing concrete, they all love. So what I have seen in the past 6 years is that, yes, sales have gone down. In fact, our capital has shrunk.
Wow.
The capital I started with, I don't have it now because of goodwill and the kind of relationship I have with distributors, big distributors. They give me the cement to sell, and I give them their money back.
Wow.
Because Mimi Sikani de Ashe.
Wow.
And that is because of the inflation. So you buy cement, 32 cedis.
Yes.
You put it in your shop. I'm sorry, that is when I started. Let me use the current rate. So you buy cement at 95 cedis. I sell it at 97 cedis. Now,
that's
that's
just
two cedis. Yes. Oh,
2 cedis profit.
Yes.
That's all you get on the cement.
And if I am distributing, if I'm distributing, it's just between 50 pesos to 1 cedi. Yes.
What?
Yes. The highest people are making on cement is 4 cedis, and that is people who are far away from the factory. We are closer to the factory, so the profit on cement is small. So the more you sell, the more you gain.
Yeah.
So if you buy 100, so 2 cedis, 100, maybe I'll get 200 cedis from it. But there's no guarantee. So persons who are in town, if you're around airports and somebody is selling cement, it's likely to be higher than those who are in developing areas.
Yeah, because of proximity.
Yes, exactly. And also, it'll be higher. But then they are selling lesser because it's already a developed town. Airport is developed. So people are doing maybe works on their building, just maybe there's some screening to be done. That's when they buy. But developing areas, they tend to sell more. And I find myself in a developing area. And we're about 6 or 7 retailers and distributors who are close by, and we sell to the community. So what we're seeing is that, yes, now if you're buying 10 bags of cement, it's 1,010 cedis. But the profit on it is the same. It's still my 2 cedi. So 10, 2 times 10, 20 cedis.
Right.
So my profit margin does not go up. But my capital to purchase goes up. So my purchasing power has reduced.
Wow.
So I buy cement at 95 cedis. I'm selling it at 97, and then it goes up by 10 cedis.
Wow.
Now, if it goes up by 10 cedis, so 95, now it's 105. Remember that I'm selling it at 97.
Yes.
So if I'm going back to the factory, I've already lost 8 cedis. This is plus my profits.
Wow.
I've lost 8 cedis on a bag of cement.
Wow.
So, but you go back there, you bought the cement. So, let's say, example, I bought 1,000 bags, 95,000 cedis. 95,000 cedis. My math is not very good, so I have to use a calculator.
Yeah.
So, I bought the 1,000 bags for 95,000. Now, they've increased it to 105. 1,000. It's now 105,000 cedis. Wow. Now I need 10,000 cedis to be able to buy the same quantity, because in 2 weeks it has gone up.
Yes.
So that is how we lose money. So in 2 weeks I've lost 10,000 by not spending the 10,000.
And you can't also say you're reducing the quantity that you're buying.
No, you can. So it means that what it means is that now the 95,000 cedis. So if 95,000
yes,
divided by 105. So now instead of buying 1,000, I can buy 904 bags with the same money.
See.
I'll buy 900. So that is the problem. And that is why a lot of people who have done cement business and they've shut down, I hear a lot of stories says we shut down because they are not making money.
I'll come back to you.
Yeah.
So
that's generally what's happening.
I like the context that you have set for us, because it helps us with the conversation. Thank you so very much for this. Sure. Now, let me speak to Dr. Dosing Amwa. Dr. Dosing Amwa is the president of CMA, of course, that's Cement Manufacturers Association. Doc, good afternoon. Thank you very much for accepting to talk to us on Good Afternoon Ghana.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Right.
I am the CEO of the Cement Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, not the president. Anyway.
Oh, so is the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers Association?
No.
Or is just the Chamber of...
Is,
okay, so Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, that's it.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that clarity. Doc, why are the prices of cement so high?
I think the answer has been, I was actually listening to the submission by the gentleman, and it's obvious. You and I know what is happening in the country. This is as a result of the cedi depreciation, which you know has been on for some months now. And cement production hinges on importation of raw materials. So it hinges on actually use of foreign currencies. So basically the reason for the cement prices, which have actually gone up last week and this week, is purely on the cedi depreciation. Come to think of just a period of 3 months, from 11 to about 15. So that is actually what is happening. 75 got it to 80. Now we are trying to use some local limestone, which are, a component in the production of cement, which is called clinker. It's imported. And like the gentleman said, yes, you buy with foreign currency. You bring it down, you mill, you sell in cedis, then you exchange into dollar and just go back for what you call the raw material. So the fluctuation is actually a concern, and that is the reason. Basically the reason. And I can tell you in authority that some manufacturers are not happy, to increase prices, but they know how sensitive and the economic implication of the cement products. So it is not something that they are interested. No, it is like not something that they do it for fun. It is for them to protect their investment. And of course, yes, like you also mentioned to you, the profit margin. If you really sit down and just know, it's actually, I can't say there's nothing to write home about. It's small. And they are keeping employment. And they have other obligations. So the business must run. I said the business must go on. And what is the result of what you call retail price or cement price? It's out of production costs. So if your production cost is going up, definitely there should be a means of letting the consumer absorb the production cost so that you can stay in business. So basically, the major reason for this price increase is due to the cedi depreciation.
I see. So if what you're saying is anything to go by, then KT Hammond's directive to you and you specifically that do something about the price increment. Stop it, because it is not sustainable. If what you said is anything to go by, then it means that this directive is not going to go anywhere.
It will worse. And what is the basis? Like Riley said, I mean, the first approach was for ministers to have met the manufacturers. And I can also tell you in authority that the cement industry, of which I've been, part of it for several years, we have a memorandum of understanding with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. And this tells you that, the manufacturers and our, sector industry, a sector ministry, consider the cement product as very sensitive and very economically driven one. I mean, cement, it affects all manner of activities. So even with this MOU, what we would have expected the minister to do is call us for us to ask questions. How is the question? Hey, what's going on? Why? Because basically, like I said, this price increase was not done in a vacuum. It was based on certain basis. It had basis. So just ask questions that, what is it? And maybe we sit down and just negotiate. If we find the quantum of the increase, it can be discussed. But just to give a counter stop without any basis, without any solution to the problem that has led to, this will not wash. And again, are we in the price control regime in Ghana now? This is a private sector. This is a private business. And these are businesses, apart from Gaslam that I know has about 5% share, of government, which of course, all others, there's no government that doesn't have any shares in it. It's purely private and purely economic, purely business, purely financial, purely technical, purely engineering. So it means all these parameters have been taken into consideration. To a decision to be taken. Then out of the blues, you just write that stuff. What is the basis? It won't wash. It can wash.
I see. Are you able to?
Absolutely, that's unfair.
Right. Are you able to, for instance, tell us, since the beginning of this year, from January, the quantum of increase that you've had to bear on production, in terms of production costs, from January to May this year? If you have the figures, that would be great.
This is what I just said. Decisions out of a manufacturing unit. I guess there will be syndicate. Of every factor of the manufacturing unit has to come. So I can't just give a figure just like that. Basically, I didn't even know I was going to go into figures. And I can promise that at the average, then also, we are talking about 14, 15, maybe yes, cement manufacturers here, talk about 10. And we have the, production, cost differentials, but at least you can get an average as a matter of fact. So if that can be done, that research can be done. I don't want really to give a figure to that. I am not sure of it. But I can tell you on authority that we are putting our justification together, and I think it will really come out just for you to know the quantum, and even to appreciate that. I can tell you that if consumers are to absorb, the higher production cost, it is not 100%. It is absolutely not 100%.
I see.
It is some percentage. Yes, I'm telling you this. That one I can tell you on authority. They don't. Otherwise, like nobody will build. But huge. Like I told you, within 3 months, 11, Ghana cities, to $1, and now we're talking about 15. I don't know the figure this week. I don't even want to hear about it. It's a jump, really jump. And come to think of what I told you earlier, the raw material, they are imported. And apart from actually the importation, TAPOA, TPHA tariffs are dollarized. They are dollarized. And custom duty, it is based on maybe dollar, but you pay in equivalent to what you call city prevailing, city equivalent, whatever. Tariffs, levies. That is exactly what is happening. I mean, when you sit down one day and you do a presentation, you really appreciate where they are coming from.
Let me ask you, were you at the meeting where the trade minister made this directive? And what was your immediate reaction when he said what he said?
There was no consultation.
There was no consultation.
We were not even respected to be called for this directive. This directive just came. Like I said, even in the face of the MOU that we have, they just call us.
Okay.
And ask. And we've been doing this now. What we've been doing. Severally, the manufacturers are called to wait at the end of it. At the end of it, I can tell you, the minister, I'm not talking about him, the minister, they're checking out. That is if they are given the chance to do a presentation to justify price increase. At the end of it, rather, the table turns for the manufacturers to be sympathized. Oh, yes.
Okay.
I have been in this business for 29 years, and I know what is happening, especially when it comes to city depreciation.
All right. So, for as long as the factors of production or the production cost keeps going up, you are helpless. You can't do anything about it. I think your point.
Absolutely.
Yes, your point.
Business people.
Yeah.
They are business.
Yeah. Your point has been well made, Doc. I'm so grateful you made time to join us, sir. Thank you so very much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Please, hello.
I'm here, sir.
Yeah. What's the name of the presenter?
The lady who was talking. That's Bridget Otu.
Oh, okay. The lady. Okay. From where, please?
She works here, but she's also a part-time cement seller.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Her calculations are very good.
Yes, her calculations are spot on. Yes.
That's super. Congratulations.
Yeah, apparently she was a very good math student back in school, so no wonder. Thank you. All right, Doc, thank you so very much. Yes, that's Dr. or Reverend Dr. George Dawson Amoa is the president of the Chamber.
The CEO.
Oh, he's a CEO, not a president. So he's the CEO of the Chamber of Cement Manufacturers, talking to us about giving us their response or reaction to the minister's directive for them to halt price increases. That's not possible. How? It's not possible. Anyway, so let me come to Mr. Megaibo. Now, Mr. Megaibo is in the real estate business. He's the executive secretary of GREDA. Let's also pick their thoughts on what he also makes of this directive. So, but first of all, I noticed that you guys don't have a chamber. I'm talking about those of you in the real estate business. You don't have a chamber. Now you see the cement manufacturers have a chamber. There's COPEC, there's this, there's that. How come you guys don't have a chamber?
Okay, the real estate itself doesn't have a chamber.
Okay.
But we have a chamber for Ghana construction industries.
Oh, okay.
And GREDA is a member.
Right.
And all the stakeholders, both professional side and the business side, are automatically members.
Okay.
However, the Ministry of Works and Housing is working hard to hopefully come up with a regulator for the real estate, that's the housing industry,
right?
Which is hopefully to be called National Housing Authority.
Okay.
When that comes into play, I think our role may shift a bit. But
properly defined?
Yes, maybe properly defined. Yes. Right. In housing delivery, yes.
Or would you have wished that you had your own chamber?
That would be good, but sometimes too many layers of bureaucracies don't necessarily help. Yeah. It is about the institutions and what they are mandated to do, and if they have been given the opportunity to deliver, that is what matters.
I see. So you are you consume the products that are being produced or manufactured. It is Bridget's job to make sure that she cuts the products to you, and then you use it for whatever you want to use it for. Tell us about how your businesses have been affected by these increases.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a big problem.
Tell me
the
about
issue of cement hikes has never helped the construction industry.
Right.
I mean, construction and housing delivery, I always say, it's a branch of manufacturing, because we are also producing a product called a house, or called a building, or called a bridge, or whatever. And cement is one major material that we use.
Okay.
And so whatever happens to cement goes a long way to affect what we deliver.
Okay.
Another factor people must also appreciate is that our production takes a long time to mature.
Yeah.
Unlike a supermarket item that you can just put in some ingredients, put it together, and the next morning there's something packaged for the shelf.
Okay.
Ours is not like that. So you have a situation where you start a project where what we call substructure, the foundation level up to the floor.
Right.
We call it substructure. Let's say the whole substructure, you bought cement at 60 Ghana cedis. When you were doing the block work up to lintel, then you bought that cement at 70 cedis. Mm-hmm. You are doing from lintel to roofing, you are buying it at 80 Ghana cedis. You are doing plastering, and you are buying the cement at 90.
Wow.
And then now you are doing screeding and other finishes like tiles, and you are buying it at 105 or 102. Brother, tell me how you want to price your house.
Right.
Are you going to price your house based on these inflationary figures that are going on? That is why most of us, the developers who sell houses, index our prices to the dollar. It gives us a cushion against the shock of inflation.
Oh, I see.
So that whatever happens, we can easily recoup a bit. It doesn't solve all the problem.
I get it.
But then it recoups, it helps you to some extent. But where there are shocks in the international prices, that's when you have no control. So if Dr. Dawson and his people say the prices of clinker has shot up internationally, and so they will increase it locally, no matter what you check your dollar against, that will not solve it, because that has been hit internationally in terms of the cost.
Right.
But when there are inflations like the CD dollar exchange rates, you can cushion yourself. And like my lady put it, how do you invest 100 cedis into a project and sell it at 90 cedis or 80 cedis?
That's not business.
Look at the
that's charity.
Yes. And then look at the contractual relationships that contractors have with clients over delivery, over cost agreed before. And then now they have to find a way to come in with this increments. You know, in cost management, construction cost management, in quantity surveying, they have some indexes that they can apply to control or to manage inflation over a period. This is not manageable. You can call any quantity surveyor and ask him what is happening now in the cement, prices. It is difficult to capture that in their indexes, because their indexes is like over a period of 3 months. What has happened now? Can you compare it to what the index rate would have been in January and what the index rate would have been today? It's almost impossible to work with in such an environment. And so whatever happens in the cement factory and what our eventually hits our production sites, is of serious worry to us.
So today, if I want to build a house and you charged me, say, $250,000 US. Now, in charging me that $250,000, you factored in cement at, say, 100 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you get up, cement is 110 Ghana cedis. You're saying that you can't come back to me to say I should pay more?
No, I mean, sometimes the contractual provision doesn't give you that opportunity. We have locked-in contracts, price cost contract, where you have agreed with the person offhand that it's going to cost you so much and it is supposed to be delivered within this period.
Yes.
You can't go back to the person. Look, we have been involved in some project that it has to be agreed only on humanitarian grounds.
Okay.
That the client, seeing the situation, just feels for you and says that, look, I'm seeing what you are going through. I want to assist.
Yes.
So based on that, I'm agreeing that any shocks that you receive in the price of cement, work it out and bring it to me. Let me see what I can do to help you. But when you have that cost in, fixed, that's nothing you do. You have to deliver.
So there have been times when you guys in the real estate business have actually finished with the product, and then you end up losing.
Yes, of course.
Oh, how?
You will lose. You see, if you have priced your product, and index it to the dollar, that's why I was explaining that might cushion you a bit. Yep. Because the person's dollar exchange rate he was paying in January, as Dr. Dawson said, is 11. Today it is 14.
Yes.
So whatever balance I have between me and him, he will come back and pay it to me at today's exchange rate. And remember, if that person is coming from Ghana, he doesn't earn any foreign exchange. That means that's a serious burden on this person to come and pay up the difference. And if he says he doesn't have it, what can you do?
Wow.
That's a big shock. It's a big shock. And we are dealing in quantums of millions in the old Ghana cedis, or now in the thousands of Ghana cedis. And you know how much it is to get 1,000 Ghana cedis in Ghana, 2,000 Ghana cedis in Ghana. It's not a joke. So when you look at a price of a house that costs the minimal $100,000, as at January, is going to be 1.1 million. Today, 1.4. Let's use 5. Yes.
Yeah, that's 1.5 million cedis.
So somebody has to cough up 400,000 Ghana cedis just because of 3 months or 4 months. Now who got some? You see,
Serious.
that is why as a user of cement, I have to be worried about the guy who is bringing the cement to me. And so when he's being affected by a directive, I must be concerned. I'm happy if he brings the price down by 50%. I'll be happy. But I have to be realistic in my expectation also as a businessman.
Yeah.
Especially when Grader, the manufacturers, there's a forum called Cement Monitoring Committee. I have served on it 2 terms already. When I was serving on, Dr. Dawson was serving on at the same time. But that was when I met him for the first time. And we served on it 2 terms each. And so we are very, very much aware of what goes into cement production. There's no cement plant in Ghana that I have not visited. I don't know. There's nothing that I don't know what goes on. So we know what they are going through. And especially when they have presented issues. I think over a year ago, we met in Parliament. Dr. Dawson and his group, the manufacturers came. And we, the consumers, also came. We sat down in front of a select committee of Parliament, both the NDC and the MPP side. We spoke about problems. In fact, Dr. Dawson's group gave a presentation, line by line, what was affecting them. At that time, they talked about dollar exchange rates. They talked about freight. They said freight had gone up 300% at that time. And then international prices had also gone up. And then I think the 4th item was what they pay, how much they pay when their ship comes and docks and it is offloading the goods. They presented all this. So far as I can remember, we have never heard anything from the ministry, anything from government saying that, look, in view of these problems that you have presented to us, we want to support in this area. You remember Dr. Dawson's delivery this morning, afternoon, he mentioned dollarization of the import duty or the charges at the port.
But government says it's not true.
Where? You see Dr. Dawson lying?
Well, I'm not saying it's lying. you remember when the car importers were complaining about the dollarization of the import duties?
Because even they are questioning themselves.
Please, if this is not true, check and find out. I have imported vehicles, personal use in the past.
And it's also indexed in the dollar.
Yes, and you get the duty in a particular amount in Ghana, inside Ghana cities. You delay for 1 week. Don't pay on the spot and delay for 1 week and the dollar exchange goes up. And go back and see whether they will accept the same amount or not. You try it. This is experience. I'm not talking about hearsay. I have been through it.
And this change is occasioned by the movement in the dollar and in the forex.
Yes. So if you don't pay on the spot and the dollar exchange rate goes up, they will revise your duty and you have to come back and pay according to the new rate. Wow. So Dr. Dawson is right.
But Sam, you should rather than be happy that the government wants the increases to stop because it makes
exactly. That's what I explained to you.
Yes, you should be happy.
I'm happy if it comes down. But is it realistic?
But you know it's not possible.
It's not realistic. I'm a businessman.
Right.
It's not realistic.
You should also be happy if the prices come down.
Oh, absolutely. But then it's not realistic. Okay. I agree with him because, I mean, if it was 99 a few weeks ago, and let's even use the January 11 cedi to $1, and now it is 15 cedis, and we're standing at the same place when we know that the main components, the main ingredients for cement is imported, the clinker. So, I mean, how is that? So somebody will change hundreds of thousands of dollars to import clinker, then comes in and says, government says so, let's sell it at a certain
Doesn't
rate.
make sense.
And we lose.
Doesn't make sense.
They are not running charity. And then they might as well shut down. Yeah. And that is where they are headed. If we're forcing, and I know it won't happen, but if we're forcing and we're pushing, we're saying that we want to collapse the cement manufacturing industry. And that's it.
How much is cement selling today?
Okay.
How much are you selling your cement?
No, 113 cedis.
113 cedis?
Yes, there's 113. The cheapest, which is the lowest grade, is 93, 94 cedis. Yeah, the lowest grade. And even that is, and these are like top brands. So the ones that are not being checked, the ones that people are afraid that they are using inferior products, are even selling at 85, 89. And they are using local stuff. You know, small clinker, they are using limestone, clay, you know. But those who are using the what is it called, the dominant ingredients, which is the clinker and the gypsum, they are paying a lot.
Do you give any special discounts to people like, say, Mr. Amegaibo Dems, who would say, well, I'm putting up, say, 1,000, housing units. So if it's 113 or 112.
No, they don't get it at that rate. They buy from the factory. So as
okay, you guys buy from the factory directly.
Sometimes. Depending on the quantity. So hospital projects. So I've supplied hospital projects in Accra and Kumasi.
Okay,
so we buy from the factory, and our margin is between 50 pesos to 1 cedi on that.
And that's
cheaper, and that is direct. So there's no aboboya cost. There is no profit of 2 cedi. So it's just, but you make about between 50 and 1 cedi on it because they are buying big volume. So 1,000 bags goes, and you're like, okay, many 1,000 Ghana is okay. I can manage that because if I go and put the 1,000 in my shop, maybe it will take me 3 weeks to sell, and that's the same 1,000. 2,000. I'll get 2,000 cedis in 3 weeks. Then let me make the 1,000 cedis in a day's way. So that's how it normally happens.
Wow. I'll take a short break. When I come back, I'll see whether I can get Bridget to supply us with some two bags of cement. I'll be back. All right, welcome back. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. We're looking at why cement prices are going up, astronomically up. In fact, the Trade Minister has been so concerned that he's asked the cement manufacturers to bring down the prices of this product. But the minority and the other players in the industry are saying that they do not, in fact, it will not wash. And I've had Dr. Dawson Yamwa, who is the CEO of the Chamber of cement manufacturers, who says that they cannot do that because otherwise they'll go out of business. And then also my colleague Bridget Otu, who works here but also is also into the selling of cement, also says that it's not possible. Even though if the government can do something to drive down the prices of cement, they'll be more than happy. So that's the conversation we're having. But when was the last time you bought cement? How much did you buy it? And what do you make of the constant changes in prices, for instance? If you are in the construction business or whatever it is that you're doing with cement, I'll be more than happy to hear what you have to say about this. And then those of you also some of you have taken mortgages with the banks or the financial institutions. How are you coping with the constant increase, or how are you coping with the decrease or the depreciation of the cedi, and how that's affecting your ability to service your mortgage? I'll be more than happy to hear from you. So 0244-262-314, 0244-262-314, 262-314. That's the WhatsApp line. I'll be more than happy to hear from you. This is Good Afternoon, Ghana. My name is Awudu Moro. So that's the line there. We've just put it up on your screen. So I'll be joined by Mr. Kofi Kapito. He's a Consumer Protection Agency Chief Executive Officer. He speaks for everybody who is experiencing the brunt of the increase in the prices of cement. He also has a few thoughts to share on this matter. But whilst we're waiting for Mr. Kofi Kapito, let me continue my conversation with Mr. Sam Amegaibo, who is the Executive Secretary of GREDA, who is still with us here in the studio. So, Mr. Amegaibo, so you're saying that. So what do you make of the directive now? Because you see, the minister has directed. It is his expectations that perhaps you guys with the cement manufacturers, not you necessarily because you are a buyer of the product, but I'm sure that he's doing this because of you and the other guys who are in the distribution of the product. I mean, what do you think are some of the practical steps that we can take? I mean, for instance, those of you who are building, we're told that with the over-reliance on clinker, are there any other raw materials that you can start considering so that you have to move away from this clinker business where every time you complain about the cost of clinker and how that is shooting up, the prices of your production cost? What are some of the alternatives that you are looking at? At least based on what I mean, that's what you have control over.
Yeah, sure.
Not managing the currency.
Exactly. So if you look at the directives, it goes to confirm or show that obviously government is concerned.
True.
And is very worried about the fact that the prices of this product or other products are all going up.
Right.
And so some steps must be taken to mitigate it or to work on it, except that maybe the approach is not the exact one. That is why Dr. Dawson said they are even shocked that they have a forum that the minister could have explored a meeting with them to see how best this can be done. And so another way also is that the directive itself, because there are some fundamental concerns, and some of it I think government may have control over, we expected that directive would have also given an indication that in view of our quest that you come down on your prices, we are also going to support the agenda or mitigate with these measures.
Right.
Maybe the import duty slash down a bit. Maybe as for the CD dollar exchange rate, it's a whole ball game altogether that has to be fixed generally for everybody. And then maybe you can say, maybe on the taxes, maybe we can suspend taxes for a while or slash it down to a point for the meantime, as things are difficult at the moment. But we didn't see anything of that nature.
Unfortunately, the government is in a very terrible fiscal situation. I mean, they need a lot of revenue.
Yeah. But
of course, we can always argue about whether they necessarily have to take that revenue from you. Aren't there any other areas that they can do that from? Yeah, if you can learn quickly, because I want to go to Kofi Capital. Please
okay, so then we would have then know that this is the way to go. And then when they are also making a contribution, we can say, we didn't see that.
Right.
So in the long term, we think that since we are talking about some research into other alternative materials, this is long overdue. It's not today. We've been talking about this. We have the Building and Roads Research Institute also there, which is a state arm of a reservoir. But have we even found out from them what can be done? We don't seem to be hearing that connection between government and this research institute. For us, we are consumers. Whatever comes on the market is what we chase and what we use. And if there are alternative materials that are well researched into and promoted, we will go about it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Mr. Kofi Capito has joined us. He's with the Consumer Protection Agency. Mr. Kofi Capito, good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Where do you stand on this? What do you make of this? Where do we go from here?
Good afternoon, Mauro. Good afternoon to George. Tell George that he's not a consumer. He's a user.
Yes, indeed. He said he's both a consumer and a user.
No, he's a user.
He's a user, yes. He's not a consumer.
Let me explain. We live in a country that everything that we are doing is out of gear, period. Okay, government is not being responsible. Business people are also not being responsible because of greed. Consumers too are not also being honest and realizing that they have a responsibility. Moreover, why is cement prices going up? Not just cement, every building material is going up. The most important thing every human being needs is shelter. So if we come to see that a shelter, yes, you mentioned government needs revenue. It comes to a time that government should know that by giving some incentives, okay, or removing some of the levies and taxes, maybe the manufacturers can also give some back to consumers. Look, let me tell you what, the Minister for Trade, I don't know if he thinks we are operating some price control in Ghana. And I've said it over and over. He doesn't get it. Ghana has been out of the price control for a very long time. But let me tell, I wish Mr. Amwa was still on. There's something called manufacturer suggested retail price, which the manufacturer is the one who sets. The question you should have asked Mr. Amwa is, what is the profit margin for the manufacturers? Bridget was saying that they make 2, maximum 3 cedis on a bag, right? What is the profit margin of the manufacturer? Because this is a country that manufacturers are making ridiculous amount of money. Wholesalers are making ridiculous amount of money. Retailers are also making ridiculous amount of money. And then property owners are also making ridiculous amount of money. We need to get the fundamentals right. We are not getting it right. Moreover, the question is, what is government still taxing next on a COVID levy for? COVID levy for what? You see, these are the things that government is the government's responsibility. Dollar, like Mr. Amayabo was saying, every Monday, tomorrow, do you know the Bank of Ghana comes up with a new dollar exchange rate at the port? Every Monday. So if you don't clear your goods by Friday and you go to the port on Monday, you'll be hit with a new dollar rate if it has changed or it has come down? The question I'm asking, since when did something go up in Ghana that it was reversed? It will never come down again. So government needs to do more and stop this minister from talking as if he can make a private manufacturer. Even government, more, go and check. State housing, they have some townhouses at Adenta. It is priced at 500,000 cedis. State housing. So why do you expect Mr. Amayagbo and Co. to also come and say that because state housing is selling it at this price, we will not increase size? And Bridget Dems, I know they don't make a lot of money because I know somebody who also sells cement. Their profit margins is between 2 to 3 cities. And imagine putting 100,000, and sometimes the cement manufacturers would even ask them to come and put the money down in advance. They collect the money from them in advance so that they can have regular supply. So if you spend 100,000, and you're waiting for your cement, what happens to you?
I get it. Okay, Kofi, I like the insights that you shared. It's
but you know what? If possible, let's do this thing better on Saturday.
That's
where
fine.
We can have more time to talk about it.
I think so. I think so too. I think it's a very important subject matter, and it's also extremely a useful exercise. So in just a minute, where do we go from here? Are you going to meet the minister to tell him that, hey, tell you what you're saying is not possible, or you're just going to be there? I mean, you're just going to do your job.
I think the minister should call the manufacturers.
Okay.
You should sit down
Would
with
you want to
them.
be in that meeting?
Oh, yes. If we're invited, why not? Like the one that we had in Parliament, they called both the producers and the users as well.
Okay.
So that we can all bring our ideas on board. And I think government can do something when it comes to the duties and the taxes. That's what we can do now in the immediate term.
Yeah.
But in the long term, let's also spend resources to research into alternative materials. As for cement, it's a worldwide product. And everywhere we are looking at alternative because even the amount of emissions that it enacts for, as I say, it contributes to about 42% of the global warming situation, which means that it's not exactly a good material. But that is what we have now, and so we have to protect it. Businesses must sustain. You see, that's the other part of the situation. If we don't assist our local manufacturers,
stay afloat.
Yeah, to stay afloat and be able to sustain,
there
will be kalabuli. That means that they will slow down in production, and whatever importation that will come, first of all, is dollar rated because they are going to import it. They are not going to be cushioning against the dollar cedi exchange rate. Anybody else who brings it. So let's see what we can do to our manufacturers to be able to stay in business whilst they produce the material for us.
And my fear is that if you study Economics 101, if you guys slow down production, it's also going to cause inflation because it's going to cause the prices of these houses to go up because there's more money chasing fuel.
Yes, if you look at the number of workers that this plants have employed, and it happens that some of them must go home. You see, the long term, the repercussions is very high.
Absolutely.
And so let's see how best we can sustain business. And then also...
It has far-reaching implications. Mr. Amegai, it's always a pleasure talking to you. It's been wonderful having you. And I like the insights that you've shared with us. Thank you so much for watching us once again on Good Afternoon Ghana. My name is Audu Moro. Thanks for watching. Have a good afternoon. Bye-bye.